with Dan to talk about commercial considerations in contracts, Dan being one of our commercial team. So Dan, what should a practice consider when entering into a new contract?
I think the first and probably most important item to consider is how you get out of the contract. Might sound kind of counterintuitive at the start of entering into a new contract, new relationship with the supplier, but quite often we find clients come to us when they're already signed up to a longer term contract and they either can't get out of it or they can get out of it, but there's extensive notice period to be given.
So if they do choose to end a contract, how easy is it to get out of something you're not happy with?
It depends. The devil is very much in the detail of the contract. So what you'll often find is that there'll be termination sections in the contract, and that will give a prescribed form or a notice period of how long a practice must serve to get out of the contract. If that's silent, which often it can be from a kind of customer perspective, you'll then have to rely on things such as material breach of contract or persistent breach, which is very difficult to prove at all.
So apart from the termination provisions, are there any other key terms that practices should look out for?
Yes, there's a few. I think notice, as I've mentioned, always think about how much notice you need to give to get out of the contracts and how do you do so. Check whether there's any assignment provisions. So you always find that bigger corporates, often suppliers, will have assignment provisions which will just allow them to assign to a company, whether it's on a business sale or otherwise. So for a customer, you need to know that your supplier is going to be the supplier for the duration and at the end of the contract. And I think importantly, as we've seen, particularly in this market, any payment provisions or price increase clauses. We've often seen contracts in practice which allow the supplier to increase prices sort of in line with the CPI or RPI index. Just making sure that you're aware of any price increases throughout the contract is always key from a commercial and business perspective.